Welcome to our channel.
I'm Max.
And I'm Maya. And we're going to talk about the best place in the world to raise a family. Ever stumble upon countless articles and blog posts claiming to have found the best place to live in the world? It's easy to wonder, what are these rankings really based on? Cost of living, quality of education, safety, or maybe just a dash of personal bias? We have our own perspectives and might not have all the answers, but we want this journey to be with you. Not every country is perfect, but let's learn from each other and hopefully arrive at a richer understanding of what truly makes a location the best place to live and raise a family. This video is the best place to raise families. Now, we are currently living in Sweden on the countryside, and we have a 2-year-old. And as someone who was born and raised in North America, Toronto, US, I am like floored by how awesome Sweden is.
There's a lot of good things about Sweden, and although I've spent the most of my adult life in the UK, I'm back where my roots at. I have a child with my wife. So that's my only reference when it comes to raising kids.
So the first thing we're gonna address is daycare. If you know, you know. Daycare can cost an arm and a leg. Living in Canada and the US, daycare can cost anywhere between $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 and up.
Yes.
Per month.
For the first child, you pay a maximum of $1,500 a month, but that is dependent on how much you earn.
1,500 kroners.
Kroners.
Which is $150.
And if you make, let's say, below average, then it will be deducted percentage-wise on your salary. But the cap is $1,500 a month.
Here in Sweden, they incentivize you to have more kids. They're like, oh yeah, have more. It's going to be cheaper. And the fourth one, it's free. So have more babies.
Yeah.
So I think that's like a huge factor to consider when you're living in different places. How much does daycare cost? So let us know in the comments below, how much does daycare cost and where you live.
Maternity leave in Sweden consists of 480 days split amongst 2 parents, and you can transfer them amongst each other as well. If the one parent chooses to be home more with the child, then you can, as another parent, share that as well.
And in the US, it's a maximum of 12 weeks. Unless, of course, your employer wants to go above and beyond, which some do, to give you more time off. And in Canada, it's similar to Sweden. We'll put it here. Not gonna act like I know. Yeah. But it's like closer to Sweden than it is to the US.
Yes. So it's also based off your salary here. So it's a percentage of your salary. And if you are like Maya, when you came to the country, you were actually granted maternity leave, although you hadn't worked here yet. So you were granted like the minimum maternity leave so that you could like establish yourself.
Yeah, because I literally couldn't work.
No.
And I needed to be able to support myself. Either way, this is why I don't mind paying taxes. I want to say it's between like 30
and 50. If you make more than a certain amount a month, then you step into higher percentage of your salary. So you can look up to like 50% of your salary. And then obviously there's other tax cuts in when you purchase things and stuff. So there are like, don't let yourself be fooled by everything's free. But like to Maya, what she was saying, and this is actually good that she mentioned it because I wasn't even thinking about that. It was good to have her as an outside perspective to say like, I don't mind paying taxes when I can see where the money is going. So like we can see the reason why it is so family friendly is because the money that we are paying in taxes are going to the infrastructure, social, benefits, social welfare, and all these things. And so it's very transparent here where the money goes. Very
honest. Like I would say of all the systems I've been involved with, this seems to be the most honest, but I'm not going to go there. US, honestly, I paid a lot of taxes in the US and I didn't feel as if that went to where I would like it to go. So that's my 2 cents. Canada, high taxes as well also a lot of social services and programs and support. But it's closer towards the US, the way they manage their taxes.
I will also mention overall how kids-friendly Sweden's the environments in Sweden is very kids-friendly. You can go to the grocery store and you can have like a playground for kids, and it's like very like well invested.
They have like cute little grocery carts for children, so like when you have your cart, they have one too, and it's just a little thing that makes the difference when you have a child. I went to a plant store, and in the plant store they had a kids section where it's just like they can play with toys, and it really caters to families, so you can keep your child entertained when you're out at the airport, at the mall. They have all these like little jungle gyms, like kid ready, child ready.
And although we live in a smaller, community, you can sometimes think that that's something that you would put in smaller towns. But I feel like when we go to Stockholm and Gothenburg, it's like seen pretty much everywhere we've been in Sweden.
It's consistent
yeah.
Sweden.
And we have traveled to multiple countries as a family with our child, and by far, when it comes to that aspect, Sweden takes the win, I think.
Yeah, it's very intentional kids friendly, whereas going to other countries, they're kid friendly, but they're not intentional about here's the kids section.
I'm gonna give a little dig to Sweden now, since we're just praising it so much. I would say like Maya said there, like if you were to go to a restaurant with your child in another country, that's more like, I don't know, let's say
Portugal
or
Italy.
Like Italy, like you bring your child to the restaurant and it's like the staff is like so welcoming. They take care of your child, make sure that they have everything they need, and very like, and it's also like more respected from the other restaurant guests as well, because it's part of the culture. Like you go as a family. I don't feel as comfortable going to the restaurant with our daughter here in Sweden. I feel like it's more like, because everything is taken care of, you should be able to put your child should be able to be with a daycare or like somewhere else.
Maybe I think it's because Swedes like come across as colder because of the colder climate. They're more reserved, whereas in Portugal they're way more welcoming. So
but don't you also think it's a result of such a safe system that maybe in Italy and Portugal, where the system isn't as progressive or whatever, you have to survive in a different way. So I'm just bringing my child to the restaurant. Like I don't have any babysitter, I don't have anything. Whereas in Sweden, it's like, it's so like, oh, your child should not be here. They should be with, I don't know. I just feel like
that I don't know. I can just speak to like the culture in terms of warmth. Typically Swedes are not like Italians by any means, or Filipinos or any of that.
Fair enough.
The colder you get, the colder you get. I find, as an outsider looking in, Sweden has a way healthier work-life balance. Swedes have this thing called semester where they take a month off. Who takes a month off?
In the summer,
In the summer. Like, across North America, you typically do 1, maybe 2 weeks time off.
Yeah.
Not a month.
No. And I think that's not even the
typical average.
I think like you're like granted like 5-6 weeks a year. But then it's very like, it's almost like...
What is that, paid leave?
Yeah, paid leave, yeah. I think it's like compulsory, is that it's almost compulsory. Like it's so embedded in the culture that you take 4 weeks in the summer. Like the workplace that you're making the schedule always take semester into account. So like you're like expected to take 4 weeks consecutive time off between like June and August. For sure. And this is something that growing up was actually really good, because as kids we were like encouraged to do summer jobs for this period. So like we were like, when we were off school, we were like, there were so many work opportunities for us to work in like factories. I got my forklift driving license for free, and I was like working in a factory during this period of time. So it was a great work time for kids to get involved with work opportunities and also like getting paid for it.
So when all the parents leave to go on their semester, all the high school students or students in general just are working. So that's a good opportunity and exposure for younger children to like expose themselves to what it's like to work. Free education, free university. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
Free university? In Canada, I paid $4,000 a year for tuition, and in the U.S. It was between like $4,000 and $20,000.
Do you guys take student loans then?
Of course, yeah, you have to. I mean, there's a small group of people who don't have to.
Pay,
or they get scholarships. There's lots of scholarship opportunities in the U.S. and Canada.
I haven't gone to university in Sweden, although it's always felt good to know that the security of having that opportunity. I applied for some of the theatrical art schools, but those are like audition based. So if you don't get in, but if you do get in, it's completely free. So it's like the opportunity is there. For me, I studied abroad. The government here provides very like interest-free loans, which
Is it interest-free?
No, it's a small amount of interest, but it feels like interest-free. So that's also winning in a way, I think. Healthcare in Sweden is not free, but it's very, very affordable, and I think that it boils down to the administration fee that you pay. So if you go to the general practice here, you pay 200 kroners. If you go to the emergency, I think it's around, it varies between 200 and 400 depending on your age and stuff. But there is a cap there too. So if you're having to go to a lot of doctor appointments over the course of a year, then once you reach a limit, you won't have to pay above that. So let's say that you have a heart surgery, for instance. There's no way that you're going to be billed like, 100,000 kroners. It will be free.
I wonder what it would cost to give birth in Sweden.
Free. That is free. That is free.
Oh, okay.
You might have to pay for the administration fee, like you going into the hospital, which is like...
So admin fees.
Yeah.
So in the U.S., $10K a baby, unless, of course, you have health insurance or health coverage that is covering that. Canada, it's also free healthcare.
Yeah.
What is not included in healthcare is dental. Dental is separate.
It's the same here.
Aesthetics? Like, no, it's not.
Yeah, it's the same here, but still more affordable than most places in the world. We chose to have a home birth, so we had to pay out of pocket because that's not supported by the government in Sweden as of yet. Hopefully, we pray for that in the future. But so it's interesting how if it's hospital, it would be free, but if you want to do it yourself, you pay.
It could be free at home too, but if you want a midwife or a doula to be there, you have to pay them their rates, which are private rates. So overall, Sweden, in my opinion, is amazing for families, especially if families who are looking to save money, which is why I don't mind paying more in taxes.
No.
But I will say that the con side of that is you got to deal with these Swedish winters, which are very hard.
Cold. It can be very isolated. I think that the culture in itself, like Maya have sort of like scratched the surface on. Like I think there is a coldness to the Swedish culture because the weather maybe. So sometimes it can feel very isolating. Like maybe it's not like that warm sort of like talkative exchange that you have in other cultures. But overall, like you said, like the standard of living is really good. Like the homes, like even the lowest level of house accommodations are pretty high standard compared to where I know.
They're
for, like,
projects. They're so-called projects.
Like the projects here is like
what?
It's like better standard than I lived in the UK.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments below your country, like the daycare costs, the healthcare, all of that stuff, so we know based on your story and your life what is in fact the best country to raise a child. I do believe from the countries that I've lived in, Sweden is the best.
Yes.
If you can bear the winters. Even though this video might be titled what it is, it's really going to be dictated in the comments. So let us know. We're clearly biased, but I am so open to change my mind based on what you write there.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
So let us know, and
if there's anything that we haven't touched on already, please let us know in the comments below, and we'll be happy to answer that. But until then, make sure you're subscribed to our channel, that your notifications are on, and we'll look forward to see you very soon.
Hej då!
Hej då!